What is up with 2025? I mean, if you've been looking outside, I'm sure you've noticed there's so much going on. Wars, conflicts, disruption, battles, changes all the time, and a lot of uncertainty and chaos and disruption. Unfortunately, there's a lot going on. And if you've been watching the astrological news, you've probably heard that 2025 is one of those really big game changer years in our lives and in the history of humanity. And it's super significant. I mean, we can even compare it to 2020 in the sense that whatever happens and whatever is happening, these activations, they influence all of us. They really have a global impact. And whatever happens and how it happens, it's going to affect us all. So it is absolutely a year of there is a new beginning happening, even though we can't really see it yet. But there's definitely a seeding point here for humanity. And I'm going to really talk about this in just a second. But I want to first of all break this down and kind of give you this general, like, cosmic landscape of the year. And why, so first of all, why is this such an important year? First of all, it has a lot to do with the outer planets. So the outer planets are the ones that are far away from us. So starting with Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, they're far from us. So the further they are from us and from our sun, it means that it's going to take them a longer time to go around the sun, to do the full orbit around the sun. Um, so just so you have an idea, Neptune, for example, takes 165 years to go around the sun. So it stays in one sign for 14 years. So just imagine that the energies, the archetypes, the themes of that sign are really being working through during 14 years. So that's Neptune. Uranus, it stays 7 years in the sign. So it takes 84 years for Uranus to go around the sun. Saturn, a little bit less because Saturn is closer to us. It takes around 30 years, 29 to 30 years for Saturn to go around the sun. So it stays in the sign for 2.5 years. Pluto is so far away from us. So Pluto, for example, now, and I'll get to that in just a second, but Pluto will be in Aquarius for 20 years. So those Aquarius themes are going to be relevant during 20 years of our lives. They're really going to shape a lot of our world. So whenever these planets change signs, times change. We feel that. We see those changes. They are turning points. They are milestones because ultimately they are the cosmic architects. They reshape society from the inside out. So the themes of that sign, where they're transiting, where they're traveling through, those themes will really take center stage and they're going to shape our collective focus and they're going to spark cultural shifts and historical events. And really, again, looking at this from that big picture story of humanity and the soul of humanity. So what's happening in 2025 is, first of all, the sky is anything but quiet. So what is happening is that, which is something so rare, this is so extremely rare when you have so many of these planets, the ones that are far away from us, to change signs within 1 year or less than a year. So, Saturn moves into Aries. Neptune moves into Aries, actually just did a few days ago. They're also walking hand in hand. They're really when you have two planets walking together and they're coming to like their energies are fusing, they're merging those energies and they're really creating a new planet, like a meta planet type of thing. So you have that going on, which is a really big deal. We have Uranus moving into Gemini after 7 years in the sign of Taurus. So Uranus is already, it brings up, it speeds things up. Taurus has a slower pace, but Gemini is fast. Uranus is hyperdrive. So when you have these together, things are going to speed up big time. Even if you think you're already seeing so much and things are happening fast, tighten your seatbelts because it's going to get much faster and things are going to happen even quicker. Jupiter also is moving into Cancer. So it's leaving Gemini, moving into Cancer. Our nodal axe moved from Aries to Libra, or nodal axe back in January. I actually have a video on that. If you haven't seen it, check it out. So our nodal axe moved from Libra, Aries to Virgo, Pisces. And for the first time in 20, I believe it's 225 years, Pluto is going to fully settle in Aquarius. Because before I was entering Aquarius and then it was retrograding back to Capricorn and then would move into Aquarius again and then retrograde into Capricorn. But now, 2025, Pluto is in Aquarius the whole year. It's not going back to Capricorn anymore. So the fact that all of these planets are changing signs, all, very close to during the same time, like within a year, this is really rare. And I mean, we're really witnessing a cosmic reset, a cosmic reboot. So, of course, this is going to bring a lot of shifts, a lot of changes. We're already seeing so much. But as 2025 continues and continues to unfold, it really is this beginning of a new wave that is growing, that's gaining momentum. And, again, from a very general perspective of the sky, we're moving, a lot of these planets were hanging out for many years, were hanging out in um, earth and water signs, and now they're moving into air and fire signs, which it's a very active, creative energy. It's a boost of energy. It's extroverted, it's outward energy. So in many ways, we're going to see a lot of this awakening of a lot of dormant energy and kind of waking us up, for good and for bad as well. But there's something here about action, doing, standing up for yourself, standing up for what you believe in, remembering like life is so precious and I don't have all the time in the world. So what do I want to do? What fulfills me? What's authentic to me? With both with both Saturn and Neptune in Aries, there's absolutely this intention of reinvention, of recreation, and really seeding. It's like that moment of the seeding time where, in our personal lives, but also collectively speaking, we're really giving birth. Aries is the birth of a new way of being, the birth of a new way of existing, the birth of a new paradigm, and ultimately the birth of a new humanity. So, so much happening. I just want to kind of break this down a little bit more so you understand what these energies are about. Uranus and Gemini and Pluto and Aquarius, they are going to ignite huge breakthroughs. We're going to see massive advancements in AI, technology. If you're already thinking, oh, already seen so much, I mean, this is nothing. Things are really going to speed up. So AI and technology are going to be in like more and more integrated parts in our everyday life. They're going to expand the boundaries of, language translation, our educational system, digital communications. There's going to be new ways of connecting through new digital platforms and the ways we work, the ways we connect, the ways we consume information, data sharing, social networks. All of this is going to become more and more breakthroughs, faster. Things are going to be happening, innovation, intercultural exchange. So digital platforms. So all of that is really it's going to be very active. Cutting edge medical breakthroughs. So maybe highly likely, not maybe, highly likely, there's going to be new cures for diseases that have been, uncurable. Gemini and Aquarius also transportational systems, the travel industry, the way we move from one place to the next, cars and planes and the travel industry, and of course, space exploration, space travel. I mean, this is a time where highly likely there's going to be open contact with beings from other planets. I mean, the sky is so supportive of this. Uranus is our neighbors, Gemini, Uranus is how we're connecting and space, and then Gemini is our neighbors. So when you bring this and this Pluto and Aquarius, this is really, we are witnessing, we're going to continue to witness a reimagining of the way we learn, the way we share knowledge, our ability to interact with the cosmos itself. So it's a really big deal. And then going back to Saturn and Neptune, which is, what I was telling you about, is that Saturn and Neptune come together every 37 years. And they're not only entering Aries, but they're doing it together. They're walking hand in hand, they're walking side by side all the way into mid 2026. So this is rare. This only happens every 37 years that they walk together. But the fact that they're both entering a new sign, and not just a new sign, but the beginning of the zodiacal wheel. Aries is it's the birthing point that opens up the astrological wheel. So, this is really a new beginning. But when Saturn and Neptune come together, we witness the dissolution of old systems, the fall of structures. So it's very much Saturn is the towers. The towers that look strong, that are strong, that we rely on, our sense of what normal is, what is secure, what is strong, what is reliable. With Neptune, it can't very much be that crumbling, things, these structures, these towers, these people, these leaders, these establishments, they fall for new ones to rise in their place. So we have illusions being stripped away. We have a lot of questions here about what is truly lasting, what is really aligned, because that's the intention of Saturn Neptune, is very much as above, so below, in the sense that Neptune is the higher truth, it's the higher consciousness, it's the higher realms, right? It's the spiritual realms. And Saturn is the here and now and what we're building in this physical time and space reality. So ultimately, when they come together, it is about this alignment of as above, so below, what we are building here with these higher dimensions and the higher truth. So we can see the collapse of the old, and at the same time, this um sacred birth, quiet and sacred birth of new paradigms and a new vision for society. So we can see a lot of the destruction and a lot of what's not working out and a lot of chaos, but know that there is absolutely something being born, even if we can't see it yet, even if we don't really know, the way it's going to look like and how it's going to be. So just so you have an idea, the last time Saturn and Neptune came together was 37 years ago. This was back in 1989, and we saw profound societal shifts. We saw the collapse of the Soviet Union, which really or the map literally changed. So we had, the Soviet Union that broke down into different smaller countries. We had the fall of the Berlin Wall, the wall, that's Saturn. It's strong. It's not going anywhere. And the Neptune is, oof, the collapse, the dissolution of the wall. And we can even bring this to a symbol, the symbolism of what are our walls, what are the pillars in our lives that are strong and may need to be taken down for something new to blossom, to come into existence. We also had, and last time they came together, Saturn, Neptune, so we had the collapse of the Soviet Union, the fall of the Berlin Wall, the end of apartheid, the collapse of the Iron Curtain, and now, 37 years later, they're meeting exactly at 0 degrees Aries. So zero, the point, 0 degrees of Aries, that is called the world point. It's the very beginning point of the zodiac. So this is igniting really a powerful new wave of consciousness. So this is not just any alignment. This is not random. This is the cosmic spark at the starting point of the zodiac that is telling us, hey, there's a new birth. There's something, there's a new era being born. There's a collective awakening. And it is time to take inspired action. And it is definitely a new era for humanity being seated as we speak, in a new template being formed, and a new paradigm rising from the ashes of the old. So a lot of restructuring, a lot of collapsing of outdated systems. And that's going to impact governance, society, culture, technology. We're going to see systems breaking down. We're going to see new ones emerging. We're going to see leaders collapsing, um, and new ones, new heroes coming to the stage. But in hindsight, we're definitely going to look at 2025 and 2026 as well as turning points in our history. And we're going to see, in many ways, history being made. And probably a lot of chaos, a lot of dissolutions, a lot of collapses. But as something new is being emerging, I think this is a time to take action. Aries is not just about intention and dreaming things into existence, which is it's part of the equation for sure. But Aries also say, okay, I also need to do something about it. I need to take action. I need to stand up for myself. I need to go ahead and create the life that I envision. It's not just enough to dream it into being. We need to um do something about it. We need to be hands-on about reinventing ourselves and creating who we want to be and who we want to become. So I do want to bring this to, the suggestion of paying close attention to what is speaking to you, that voice inside you, because it is telling you important things and knows the way. If you can't hear it just yet, keep listening, keep tuning in, keep noticing, keep going, back in and see what comes up in your life, in your consciousness. If you go through situations that can, from the superficial level, not superficial, but from the external level, they may seem like this is the last thing I wanted to happen. I lost my job. I got broken up with. All of these circumstances that might look negative or it might be very disruptive and uncomfortable. But know that deep down, there is this new birth that's taking place for you. There is a reinvention of self. There is a recreation of you, not just of the world, but of you as well, and who we are, all of us, and who we're becoming ultimately. So we're going to see a lot of events triggered by external circumstances, but also a lot of internal things coming up as well. So it's so important for us to pay attention to it. Um, and really ultimately co-creating actively, that's the Aries word, actively co-creating what comes next as we are dreaming new forms and a new reality into being. And know that you matter. You are an essential part of it. That's why you chose to be here. And during this time, like you're like, I want to be in the middle of the action because I want to help rebuild this world and a world that comes together in love and unity, not in destruction and separation. So I want to quickly actually show you what it looks like with these planets moving into new signs. Okay, so this is the chart of today. So you can see here the nodes. Here's the node. The south node is in Virgo. The north node is in Pisces. So if you haven't checked out that video, please do. They changed signs back in January. They're going to be in the axis of Virgo and Pisces until mid 2026. And then we also just had Neptune moving into Aries. So right now it's at the 0 degree of Aries. So Neptune will be in Aries for 14 years. And then when we get to May 25th, Saturn is going to move into Aries. Here's Saturn. Um, is going to move into Aries. And as you can see, both Saturn and Neptune, they are together. So they're going to be together for the rest of the year. They will go retrograde. They will go back to Pisces for a little bit, and then they're going to re-enter Aries for good. And then when we get to June, June 9th, Jupiter will enter the sign of Cancer. And it's going to be in Cancer for a whole year. And then when we get to July 7th, that's when we have Uranus in the sign moving into Gemini. It's at the 0 degrees of Gemini, which is also where the stars, Alcyone, the brightest star of the Pleiades, is located. But I will tell you about this a little later. I'm going to do a full video because I want to focus on this Jupiter and Gemini because there's so much to cover, there's so much to say. But so you see all these planets moving into new signs. Like again, this doesn't happen every year. And I also want to fast forward a month for you to see Saturn and Neptune walking together for the rest of the year into 2026. So again, I'm going to go back to May. This is May. They're very close. And then this is June. They continue to walk together. July, very, very close. August, so close. They're like kissing. And again, when you have these two planets together, they fuse their energy. So it's like they're becoming a new planet. September, again, very close. October, still. November, they're back into Pisces, but they're still, connected. They're still close to each other. This is December, the same, only 4 degrees apart. January, they're getting closer, like even closer, 3 degrees apart. And then Neptune goes back into Aries. Saturn follows. That is, they meet exactly, their exact meeting is on February 20th. So you see here the exact moment that they meet, even though again they're walking hand in hand until then and afterwards as well. But this is like the moment of the wedding, the exact moment they meet at the 0 degree of Aries. And then March of 2026, again, still very close. April, still close. There's only a 5-degree orb. And then when we get to May, that's when they start to separate further and further. So as you can see, this we are officially and already in a Saturn Neptune year, which again, big deal and game changer, really, for all of us. So, on that note, thank you so much for watching. And if you like this video, don't forget to like it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. If you want to know how these activations are affecting your natal chart specifically, don't hesitate to contact me and we can connect and talk more about it. And on that note, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time.